Here's how you start your first Google Classroom. You've signed in, and then you click here on plus. You can either join a class or create a class. We're going to go ahead and create one. The class name will be Test 1. The section would be Period 1. Now, once you've started your class, you have some choices. Of course, you can start the tour, which is a lovely option, so it'll give you some overviews. I can also select my theme. With all of my classes, I made each class their own theme so that I could easily recognize the difference between classes. And so let's pick this butterfly one. And so that is the theme for our test class. Now, you notice here it says announcement or assignment. I'm going to do an announcement first and write, this is a test class, and post it. Now, if this was a real class, all of my students would see my announcement right there. They would also be able to comment on my announcement and ask things like, and then they would post it, and again, everyone would see their comments. Now, sometimes this could be problematic, in which case you are able to delete. It doesn't show this option because it's only my comment, but you can also mute the person who made the comment. So if you have a student who keeps talking about candy or something, you can of course talk to that student, but you can also mute that student. You can delete their comments as well, but you can also mute them. So I've found the mute item to be very helpful. You can also create an assignment. Now, you would put the title of the assignment in here and any description below. Oops. Now, I would recommend that you have all of your classes set up before you add assignments, because at this point, you can choose which classes that this will work for. So you can click all of these classes. Now, once you've made the assignment, you don't have the option to change which classes it's for. So you wouldn't be able to just add this assignment to your period 2 class automatically. You would have to retype everything in and recreate everything. So I highly recommend that you set up all of your classrooms, and then you can click all of these that it would apply to, this assignment would apply to. Now you have options also while you're doing this. You can upload a file to attach to this. So if, for example, when I do my research, I will give them from my drive, I have a sample paper for formatting. So I would add that to that for them. You can also add a YouTube video. Unfortunately, they would only be able to see that from home, but you could add a YouTube video. For example, I have videos like this about how to do things in Google, and so I would give them a link for how to format their paper if that would be helpful to them. I can also share a link to it or attach a link to it. Now, students can view this file, they can edit it, or I can make a copy for each student. So I have a choice on how that works. So they can either look at it and then just format it on their own by looking at mine, or if it's a group project, I'd allow them to edit it, or I can make a copy. I prefer to make a copy. And there it is, assign. Now this is assigned to them. I can also change when it is due. Can edit it and change the due date to the 21st at 6 p.m. and save it. And then when people turn things in, I will see exactly what time they turned it in. I will see if they turned it in after the cutoff time. It will say late directly on it. And so you have all of these options when you receive assignments from people. So you have everything set up. Now it's time to add students to your classroom. And that is what this is for, your class code. So you'll take your class code and you will put that on the board and tell your students to join your class. And just like you did earlier when you went through and you added a plus here to join a class or create a class, they will click join class and they'll enter that little code that you had in order to join your classroom. So in order for someone to join your class, they have to have this code. When you're looking here at students, it will give you a list of your students. Your students can post and comment, or only the teacher can comment. So that is something that you need to see there. You'll have your stream. Now, when you click on an assignment, you will see a list. Here's one person, she's late, but you can see a list here of what it will look like. Imagine you have your 36, 40 people right below that, and you can see whether the status is late, done, resubmitted, or what it is there. And so then you can just click on that student, add a private comment about the assignment, and then post it to let them know. You can also put the grades in here and it will show up on your main item. So that's a brief overview of Google Classroom. Just remember, like anything, you're going to make some mistakes, but it can all be fixed. All right, have a lovely time and enjoy Google Classroom. Thank you. So sorry, but I almost forgot to add in the About tab. Now for the About tab, you can put the name of the class description, what room you're in. It already has your email and the Google Drive folder where all their work would go in. But here's the handy thing here, adding materials. So if you want everyone in your class to have your syllabus, for example, you could upload it here, put it there, and then everyone would always have access to your syllabus. If you have some sort of information, some sort of resource that you want to make sure every person in your Google Classroom can access, this is the perfect place to put it. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you so much.